Let's be honest, if you've ever felt that managing your workforce is just a chaotic jumble of spreadsheets and departments that don't talk to each other, well, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea called the workforce operating system. It's a whole new way of thinking that can take that fragmented, often underappreciated function and turn it into a real strategic powerhouse for your company.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the big problem, what I'm calling the WFM disconnect. Then we'll introduce the solution, the workforce operating system, and really get into the weeds of its 10-step engine. After that, we'll look at a real-world case study to see it in action, and finally, we'll zoom out to see how this completely changes the game, turning workforce management into a strategic partner. All right, first up, the WFM disconnect. Let's really dig into why something so vital to a business often feels, well, kind of broken. We're going to explore the frustrations that seem to pop up time and time again.
So I wanted you to think about your own organization for a second. Is workforce management seen as a strategic powerhouse, or is it more of a, back office task that just has to get done? The source material we're looking at today argues that WFM is constantly being held back by a couple of really persistent issues.
And here are the two big culprits. First, you've got this attitude that WFM is already understood. It sounds harmless, but this assumption completely undermines the deep expertise you need to do it right. And second, the main pillars, forecasting, planning, scheduling, they're all working in their own little bubbles. This siloed approach just torpedoes your decision-making and pretty much guarantees you won't get any long-term strategic value. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the fix? This is where we get to introduce a totally new framework that was built specifically to solve that fragmentation. The Workforce Operating System.
Now, the WFOS is not just another piece of software you have to install. Think of it as a complete, integrated system designed to snap all the different pieces of WFM together. It creates a clear architecture, builds in constant feedback loops, and establishes strong governance to create a function that's actually connected and intelligent.
I love this quote because it really gets to the heart of it. We're not talking about small adjustments here. This is a total reinvention. The whole point is to elevate WFM from being this reactive, technical task to a proactive, strategic partner that has a real voice in the company's biggest decisions.
And this is super important. This isn't some theory cooked up in a university lab. The WFOS was born out of real-world firefights. It was developed and battle-tested in super complex, multi-site, multicultural environments where things are constantly going wrong. It was truly designed in the field, for the field, to solve the messy, everyday problems businesses actually face.
All right, now for the really cool part. How does this thing actually work? We're about to pop the hood and break down the 10 steps that make this whole performance engine run. This is where it all comes to life.
Before we jump into all 10 steps, it helps to see them grouped into 4 big pillars. First, you have capacity design. Then comes operational execution. After that, a really crucial one, decision communication. And finally, you wrap it all up with continuous improvement. This structure gives it a really logical, powerful flow. So let's kick it off with that first pillar, capacity design. This is all about thinking before you act. Step 1 is forecasting, modeling everything you can. Step 2 is planning, where you factor in all the variables like shrinkage, all that unproductive paid time, and learning curves. Step 3, you simulate different what-if scenarios. And finally, step 4 is to align with HR, making sure your models actually connect with the real world of hiring.
Okay, once that design is locked in, you move to pillar 2, execution. This is where the rubber really meets the road. Step 5 is scheduling, balancing what the business needs with what's good for your employees. Then, step 6 is to monitor everything in real time, tracking performance and having a clear chain of command to jump on problems the second they appear. This is how your plans become reality.
Now, this next pillar is so often overlooked, but it's a game changer: communication. It's not enough to just do the work. You have to learn from it and share those learnings. So step 7 is to analyze what went right and wrong. Step 8 is to inform your stakeholders with reports that actually mean something, turning data into insight. And step 9, govern, is about getting WFM a real seat at the leadership table, making sure decisions are documented and everyone's accountable.
In the final pillar, the one that holds it all together, is continuous improvement. Step 10 is so simple but so critical: sustain. This is all about making sure the system actually sticks around. You audit your processes, you transfer knowledge, and you capitalize on everything you've learned so that all that intelligence doesn't just walk out the door when someone leaves the team.
So that all sounds great in theory, right? But the big question is, does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's switch gears and look at a case study that shows the incredible punch the WFOS packs when it's really put to the test.
Okay, so picture this. You've got this massive, super complex client account spread across 5 different countries. All the key metrics are in a total freefall. Forecasts are all over the place, and the WFM team itself is a mess. Planners, forecasters, capacity experts, nobody's talking to each other. The relationship with the client? Yeah, it was hanging on by a thread.
I absolutely love this quote from the person who came in to fix it. They realized the problem wasn't that people weren't working hard. The problem was there was no system, no shared anchor point. So the solution, as they put it, was to put the church back in the village, to create a single shared logic that everyone could rally around.
And the result of doing this? After putting the 10 steps of the WFOS into place, the team paid $0 in financial penalties for 2 straight months. They went from complete chaos to total control. I mean, that's not just a small improvement, that's a mind-blowing transformation that proves this system works.
That case study is amazing, right? It shows the raw operational power of the WFM OS. But its impact actually goes way deeper. This is about more than just putting out fires. It's about elevating the entire WFM function into a genuine strategic partner for the whole business.
And this is where it gets really exciting for the future. The WFOS doesn't just clean up your daily operations, it builds a bridge to 2 other critical areas: strategic workforce planning, which is all about long-term skills, and financial planning. Right now, these 3 usually live on separate islands, but with a shared system like this, the data from WFM can directly power financial models and long-term hiring strategies, finally bringing them all into one conversation.
So that brings us to our final question, one for you to really think about. After seeing how a system like this can unify teams, drive insane performance, and connect directly to strategy, you have to ask yourself, is workforce management in your organization just another function, or could it be your company's hidden strategic core? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.